Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about how temperament stereotypes based purely on the sex of the horse could lead us to make unfounded assumptions about the horse's behaviour. Do we have preconceived ideas about how horses are likely to behave? Are we more likely to assume that horses are good, bad or indifferent simply because of their sex? Well, the clever Georgie Casper made a survey to find out. She devised an imaginary family of 4, all equally capable riders. To force choices, we deliberately had only 3 horses. All horses were equally quiet and suitable for riding by each member of the family. There was 1 mare, 1 gelding and 1 stallion. I'll let you dwell on that dilemma for a moment while I tell you about our respondents. We had 1,233 respondents gathered from a variety of online horse forums asking them to participate in a horse selection survey. This chart shows how they rated their riding experience. The blue area identifies riders with at least 8 years' experience. The next largest group were those with at least 2 years, and then we had casual riders as adults and casual riders as children. The final one, the red section, represents respondents with no riding experience. Respondents were asked to assign either the mare, gelding or stallion to a family member to ride. With only 3 horses and 4 riders, someone was going to miss out, and we were interested to see who that might be, and later, why that choice was made. Respondents allocated the gelding to the girl, shown here in dark orange, over half of the time. The decision was the clearest when it came to the stallion, with adults being allocated that horse and the man being given the stallion more often than the woman. Neither of the children were allocated the stallion to ride, other than by a handful of respondents. The last grouping on this chart represents those respondents decided to leave at the stable. It turns out that the boy missed out on the ride more than twice as often as any of the others, the man being the second least fortunate member of the family. The girl had 2.5 times the odds of being allocated the gelding than the boy. The probability of the gelding being allocated to the boy was just under 30%. With a p-value of less than 0.0001, gender was found to be highly significant in the respondent's decision-making process. Again, gender was significant when allocating the mare, and both the girl and the woman had twice the odds of being allocated the mare over the boy or the man. There seemed little doubt about who should ride the stallion, with the man having 104 times the odds of being allocated the stallion over the boy, and the woman 74 times the odds. Nearly 50% didn't give the boy a horse, despite being told that both children were equally capable, and respondents also reported that rider gender was the least important factor when considering horse allocation. Respondents were 1.3 times more likely to give importance to strength over gender, and 2 times more likely to give importance to age over gender. This graph shows the clear disconnect between what respondents are saying is important when allocating horses to riders and the actual choices they are making when forced to do so. If rider gender was really the least important factor when allocating horses, then we would expect to see the boy and girl, because age was important, to miss out on the rides equally often. This isn't the case, however, and not only does the boy get left behind almost half of the time, the man is left at the stable more than twice as much as either the woman or the girl. Could we interpret this as respondents perhaps making choices to protect the boy from the horse? Or the horse from the boy? Perhaps we subconsciously feel that boys, and to a lesser extent men, have less patience, impulse control or ability than women and girls. Or could this be, considering respondents were forced to choose between a mare, gelding and stallion, simply based on the sex stereotypes we place on the horses? To find out, we asked the same respondents to describe mares, geldings and stallions using dichotomous pairs of adjectives, and we had some interesting results. Geldings came out the clear winners with the most positive attributes. Not a single negative attribute was chosen for the geldings, and respondents seemed clear and unified in their choices. More than 90% of respondents classified geldings as calm, reliable, easy, trainable, willing, having a good attitude, easygoing and safe, with over 86% also saying they were predictable. The results for mares were much less clear. It's interesting that respondents scored mares highly on safe and trainable, but were less sure about attributes such as easy, predictable or reliable, and fairly confident that they were bossy with a score of 73.6%. But if we think we're confused about mare behaviour, then the results for stallions were even more baffling. It seems the respondents considered stallions to be trainable with good attitudes and at the same time bossy and difficult. With this graph, you can see the results for stallions are much more variable. Should these results be of concern? I'd say yes, especially given that the respondent cohort is one of experienced riders. So where do riders go for information on horses, horse behaviour and training? Why, YouTube, of course. It's free and it has an answer for everything. Having looked at these results, I jumped on the other day to find out how to handle stallions, and one of the videos I came across, published in the last 18 months, had over 180,000 views. It's got to be good, right? This is what I learned. The 3-year-old horse practicing flying changes in the video was being colty, which I was told meant pushy and belligerent, which is what colts are apparently. The advice was this: stud horses are like teenage boys. You know, every once in a while you've got to knock the beep out of them. I'll spare you the rest because it's not G-rated. Back to our survey. Respondents were then asked which horses were most suitable for the 3 different disciplines of trail riding, dressage and show jumping. A massive 71.8% said they'd prefer to trail ride on a gelding. The mares were chosen 23% of the time and the stallions just 5%. Stallions and geldings seem to be thought of as equally suitable for dressage, with 42.1% and 42.6% respectively, but the mares came a sorry third at just 15.3% being chosen. For show jumping, respondents expected to see stallions being used, with 50% answering geldings and the remainder divided between stallions 27.2 and mares 22.2. It seems we basically prefer geldings. They've got all the good adjectives and also win on the preferred horse across the 3 disciplines. But we seem a bit unsure about mares. But when given a choice to ride, they come a poor second place. The results for the stallions were both confusing and worrying. And they suggest that riders are entering the horse-human dyad with strong biased and preconceived ideas about temperament based solely on the sex of the horse, and this could have far-reaching implications for both training and welfare. Is the bossy mare really likely to get chased in a round pen or on the lunge because we assume she's naughty? Are we assuming that the mare is being bossy when she's confused or frustrated, and if so, is this likely to lead to punishment? Stallions are difficult and bossy. Does this mean they need to be dominated, as our YouTube friend suggests? Are our horses behaving in this way because they are genetically programmed to do so, or has the anthropomorphizing bias and stereotyping meant that we are misinterpreting the horse's behavior? The final part of the survey asked respondents to provide short answers on the reasons for their choices, and this was the subject of a paper by Kate Dashper. Kate's work focused on these answers. She identifies the key findings of the study as respondents' overall preference for male horses and notes that mares are selected less than 25% of the time when asked to choose a horse for a sport or leisure activity. Geldings were chosen for dressage because they were thought to be trainable, calm, consistent, reliable, and easygoing. The top 5 reasons for choosing a stallion for dressage were presence, movement, looks, power, and spirit. The top 5 reasons for choosing a mare for dressage were that they give more, they are trainable, have spirit, looks, and presence. In contrast to the male horses, most of the respondents that chose mares based their explanations on the notions of a good mare or a good day, something that was absent in the answers relating to stallions and geldings. The top 5 reasons respondents chose geldings for show jumping were because they were thought to be reliable, calm, focused, trainable, and predictable. For stallions, the reasons were strength, power, spirit, athleticism, and predictability. Mares were chosen because they give more, for their temperament, because they are careful and athletic, and because they bond well to people. Again, the answers for mares were tempered with the notion that you had to get the horse on a good day. The top 5 reasons respondents chose geldings for trail riding were because they were easygoing, calm, reliable, good in groups, and safe. The mares were chosen because they were thought to be willing, looked after their rider, brave, calm, and a good mare. Again, the answers usually contained a qualifier indicating the mare was not the same animal on each and every day. Stallions were chosen because of their temperament. They were considered brave, calm, challenging, and fun. Our study is thought to be the first evidence that gender stereotypes inform relationships not only between humans but also between humans and other species. Clearly, mares are seen as less reliable, friendly, and desirable than their male counterparts, and this is likely to impact on their welfare. It's a fascinating field and one in which we hope to continue work. I'd like to thank the respondents that filled in the survey and, of course, my supervisors. Thank you.